Touchless students, today in this class we are going to discuss about class 7 geography, chapter number 3, that is our changing earth, part 1. The lithosphere is broken down into a number of plates known as the lithosphere plates. So we already learned about the lithosphere in the chapter number 1, the domains of environment. So lithosphere is the topmost layer of our earth crust. So this is the lithosphere layer. This is the lithosphere. So this layer is called lithosphere. So this particular lithosphere is made up of solid materials and hard materials such as rocks, minerals, soils. So this is called lithosphere. So this lithosphere is broken down into a number of plates. So number of plates. So if we look at here, this is the map of our earth. So these are the plates. So lithosphere is broken down into number of plate. So this is one plate, this is another plate, this is another plate. So these are the plate boundaries. So that means our lithosphere is divided or broken down into number of plates. So these plates are called known as the lithosphere plate, or we can say tectonic plate. So these are the lithosphere. This is our earth or globe. So these are the movement of lithosphere plates in different direction. The movement of these plate causes changes on the surface of our earth. So if we study the image here we have different landforms. Landform is also called different physical features of our earth. We have different physiographic divisions or unit. So different landforms, such as we have mountains on the earth, we have plateaus, we have plains, we have coastal areas, we have islands, we have oceans, we have seas, we have lakes, we have ponds, we have valleys, and we have rivers on the surface of our earth. So all these different landforms or physical features on the earth's surfaces are formed, or these landforms are not permanent. These landforms are always changing. So these changes are occurred because of what means because of movement of these tectonic plates. So we already discussed about the tectonic plates, right? Or lithosphere plates. So all the movement of these plate causes changes on the surface of our earth. So the changes on the surface of our earth, or the formation of different landforms on the surface of our earth, are mainly caused by the movements of lithosphere plates or the tectonic plates. The forces that act in the interior of our earth is called endogenic forces. So those forces which are originated inside of our earth are called endogenic forces, such as volcano, earthquake. So these are the two examples of endogenic forces which are originated or generated inside from our earth, while the forces that works on the surface of our earth, while the forces uh, that are generated or originated from the surface of our earth, they are called exogenic forces, such as the walk of rivers, the walk of winds, the glaciers. So if we study here these tectonic, because of the movement of tectonic plates, so these are here the tectonic plates are moving in different directions, so it lead to change in the formation of different landforms on the surface of our earth. So this is the year. So based on this year, here is the moment of tectonic plates, and the based on the moment of tectonic plates, it lead to change in the landforms or the physical features of earth, our earth. So the movement of these tectonic places causes changes on the surface of our Earth that we already studied. The forces that act inside our Earth are called endogenic forces, and while the forces that work on the surface of our Earth are called exogenic forces. So here we have uh, different images. So here we are going to identify which are the androgenic forces and which are the exogenic forces. So if we look at the study the first image, two tectonic plates are converging together or collide. Two tectonic plates are collide together. So here we have plate boundary. So these two plates are uh, collide or converged together. So when thicker or denser plate goes down and lighter plate comes up. So by converging these two plates, it will lead to formation of mountains. So this is androgenic process because of what? Tectonic plate. Again, if we study here, this is the walk of volcano where the gases are coming out from crater. So this is again an androgenic process. These forces are coming from inside from our Earth. Again, if we study this image here, initially these two roads are connected to one another, but because of earthquake, these two roads are not uh, carried in different directions. So now, if we study here, these two roads are not connected to one another because of means what? Earthquake. So earthquake is mainly caused by tectonic plate movements. So these three are the examples of what means androgenic forces. So these forces are originated inside from our Earth. While if we study these two images, so here we have two rivers confluencing. So this is the confluencing area of two rivers. If we study the color of these two rivers, it is totally different. One is the river is um, very clean, and if you look at another river, this particular river is muddy in nature. That means this river water is carrying lots of sands, where lots of silts and lots of um, uh, dust from upstream to downstream. That means the walk of river is also causing changes on the surface of our Earth because of what? Erosion and depositional process on the surface of our Earth. Likewise, if we study the second image here, here we have wind. So this particular wind is carrying lots of sand and dust on the in the atmosphere. So initially these sands and dust are eroded from some another place, and now they are carrying transporting to another place, and finally they will discharge these dust and these sand to another place. So that means again walk of wind is also making some changes on the surface of our Earth. So these are the some of the uh, diagram based or image based uh, identification of uh, examples of endogenic forces and exogenic forces on the surface of uh, which are making changes on the surface of our Earth. So here we are going to learn about the origin of both endogenic and exogenic forces. So the word endogenic and exogenic is originated from Greek word. So endo means inside, exo means outside. So inside our Earth and outside of our Earth. Genic means origin. When the forces are originated inside of our Earth, they are called endogenic forces. And when the forces are originated outside of our Earth, on the surface of our Earth, they are called exogenic forces. So the movement of our Earth, we have endogenic forces and exogenic forces, two forces. So in endogenic forces, we have certain forces, immediate forces such as earthquake is a certain forces that are occurring on the that we can feel on the surface of the Earth. Again, volcano is a certain forces. Again, landslide. So these are the certain forces, endogenic forces that we can see and feel on the surface of our Earth. And another endogenic forces is diastrophic forces. So diastrophic forces is also called tectonic plate movements. So diastrophic means, so tectonic plates movement is also called mountain. This is called mountain building forces that we already studied here. So these two plates are converging together or collide to one another. It will uh, lead to the formation of mountains on the earth. So this is called diastrophic forces, that is called mountain building or tectonic plate movements. Exogenic forces, it lead to two main uh, process. So process of what? Erosion and process of deposition. So erosion and deposition are the two main process. So these two processes are mainly done. So these two processes are mainly made by four agents: walk of river, walk of wind, sea waves, and glaciers. So if we study the image here, if we study this particular stream, so this, if we look at the color of this stream, this color of this stream is muddy in nature. That means this particular stream is carrying lots of sands, silts, and muds from upstream to downstreams. So again, this means it is eroded. This river is carrying eroded sand, silts, and mud from upstream to downstream. And finally, these particular stream will discharge all these materials on the low-lying areas. So this is called, these are the walk of rivers. It will cause erosion and deposition process. Again, if we study the second image here, this image shows the walk of wind. So this particular wind is carrying lots of sand and dust particles from one place to another place. So initially these winds will eroded carrying eroded sand and dust from one place to, and they will one place to another place. So and finally this particular wind will discharge all these sand and dust particles in another place. So this again river is doing erosion and deposition process. Likewise, we have sea. We study the sea waves. So sea waves are also causing lots of erosion and deposition process. So this particular sea arc is made by walk of sea waves. So this particular sea arc is made by uh, sea waves because of erosion of these uh, rocks, and finally they will discharge these rocks to another places. So again, this is the example of sea wave as agents of erosion and deposition. And glaciers in the high altitudes and mountainous and mostly in the high latitude zones like North Pole and South Poles, we have this one, uh, glaciers like snows and ice. So this again, they are also making a lot of changes on the surface of our earth. Certain moments like earthquake and volcano causes lots of destruction over the surface of our earth. So actually these two are the two androgenic forces, but these two forces are causing, when these two forces occurred, it will cause lots of destruction on the surface of the earth in terms of life and properties. Because of that, it is because of that, earthquake and volcanoes are causing lots of destruction on the surface of our earth. A volcano is a vent. Vent means opening. This opening in the earth crust. So this is opening or vent through which, with help of this opening, molten magma erupt or comes out. Certainly with help of this vent, because of this opening, because of this vent, the molten magmas are erupted or comes out on the surface of our earth. That is called what? Volcano. So if we study this diagram here, these are the layers of our earth. This is mantle, this is crust, and this is magma, molten magma. Because of huge pressure inside our earth, the molten magma comes out through vents, and finally it will make crater. Crater is a Crater is a huge depression made by volcanic eruption, and when the magma comes out, it is called lava. So when the molten magma comes out and it cools down, it is called lava. Along with volcano, it is also releasing lots of gases and ashes. So this image shows the how volcano erupts. So this is the eruption of volcano. Along with the volcano eruption, it is also producing lots of dust and gases and ashes on the surface of our earth. Again, this is the image of how volcano erupts. The vibration in the plates of earth is called an earthquake. So we already know the lithosphere plates, right? Lithosphere plates is also called tectonic plates. uh, so if we study the lithosphere plate movement, we have three different types of lithosphere plate movements: divergent, convergent, and transform tectonic plate movement. So when the vibration in the plate of earth is called earthquake. So when two tectonic plates collide or diverge or transform to one another, it will cause vibration. So when any of these three uh, tectonic plate movement occurs inside our earth, it will cause vibration. So if we study this image here, two this one tectonic plates are converging together, collide to one another. It lead to formation of mountain. So when two tectonic plate to collide to one another, these two plate will rub one another. So when these two plate rubs to one another or collide to one another, it will generate vibrations. So these vibrations are called earthquake. The place in the earth crust, so inside the earth, the place in the inside the earth crust where the first movement start, when two tectonic plates started convert or collide to one another, when the first this one movement starts, this is called focus. And a place on the surface of the surface above the focus is called surface. When above the focus area, it is called epicenter or main center of the earthquake. So this is the origin of earthquake, is also called epicenter. Although earthquake cannot be predicted, so far we cannot predict the uh, earthquake, when earthquake will occur. So even though we cannot measure or predict the earthquake, uh, we cannot predict the earthquake till now, but we can minimize the impact of earthquake, certainly. So by following the earthquake mitigation measures and guidelines, in terms of construction, in terms of drop and hold cover. So these are the things that we can minimize the impacts of earthquake, or we can minimize the destructions of earthquake by following the earthquake guidelines and mitigation measures. An earthquake is measured in the machine. So earthquake, the intensity of earthquake is measured in a machine. So this machine is called seismograph. So this particular seismograph will record the earthquake intensity. So these are the wavelength. So this particular, when the earth shakes, it will record the this particular arrow will record the wavelength here. So this particular wavelength, based on this particular wavelength, we can measure the intensity of earthquake on the surface of our earth. So this is the machine that we are using in order to understand the intensity of earthquake on the surface of our earth. Thank you.